Hello world. This is Saturday, so happy Saturday. This is Maria Banga, aka MAG. MAG stands for Maria Banga Global, right? I decided to become a global citizen and activist and all kinds of things. So many things in one, but yes, throughout this reading journey, I am just a woman who was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder in 2014, and I have been reading this wonderful, wonderful book by Dr. Perry and Oprah titled What Happens to You? Series on conversation on whatever, trauma, healing, and resilience. Yeah, that is it. I think I should find a link to getting this book on the Amazon, and I put it there in the description and stuff. But I decided to let my write up about my journey just stay the same. Like I'm just happy that I have been recording this journey. I think that I can go back and see how it has been. I'm sitting on the same position I sat when I did the very first video about my reading experience. I am much more calm. I mean, I'm smiling, I'm happy, I'm everything. Yeah, I finished the book, the epilogue, and everything. I read to the last word, and and it's a happy ending. It is so, and so this is it. It is not about what's wrong with you. It's not about why you behaving this way. It is about what happened to you, and it is about making peace with what happened to you and then moving on. It is about not keeping the pain alive. It is about, processing it, pushing through it. It is about protecting yourself from evocative cues. It is about giving yourself permission. I have this wall. I call it my prayer and affirmation wall. I write my stuffs there. Yeah, I mean, I'm also a poet, so I have poems. I have my personal prayers. I have things. I think you can see my wall. Can you see my wall? That's my wall right up to there. So yeah, this is a sacred space for me. It's like JC. Dr. Perry talks about JC, whom he worked with as a kid. In the book, it was in chapter 3, and it was like 10 years prior. So he met JC, and JC was living in a residential facility, and JC was working with these elderly people. That was his family. Now he felt connected to them, and um he was teaching them how to swim, how to dance, and stuff like that. It was his world. He could drive them to their appointments, push them in their wheelchairs, pick flowers with them. That was really his world. And although he went to mainstream school, he was never able to connect with kids, or with people of his age. And that is because that was the age where he experienced so much trauma. So his brain couldn't bond, couldn't relate. And although, people had thought, his neurologists and everybody had thought, well, after his brain injury, he could not remember all of those things again. He told Dr. Perry that he could remember everything. But, well, he just chose to not dwell on that, to block it out, to protect himself from that and everything, to kind of like turn the page. Actually, I'm wearing this, how do you call it? I don't know how you call it again. I forgot it. My robe, right? And this my robe is two sides. You have the purple side, or no, the flowery side, which is more of like Chinese, and then the purple side. And so I've turned it over. Purple is hope, and is the color of my association, Hope for the Abused and the Battered. And yeah, I mean, after having been through so much stuff, I'm full of hope. Indeed, like Oprah, I really believe forgiveness has a lot to do with how we bounce back or how we move on and stuff like that. So I want to read this excerpt from Oprah's last moments with her mom. They had a very um, challenging relationship. Oprah herself says it. Yes, so I'm not saying anything new. She's talked about it on her shows. I mean, it's all over the place, right? Um, and it must have been very difficult for Oprah to be the Oprah and not have a relationship with her own mother. But it was so difficult, because well, sometimes we hold on to what should have been, what could have been, and we cannot make sense. And we cannot just bring ourselves to that place of forgiving just like that. But Oprah did find it in her to do that when her mom was sick and dying. In the meantime, before then, Oprah was providing for her financially and everything. But she herself says they didn't have this connection. And I can relate to some extent because I've had that kind of relationship with my own mom too, although not to that extent. And we do have a connection now and all of that. And but there's still moments when, but we can dance together, and I really cherish those moments. So Oprah tells us how she sat with her mom while her mom was sick for hours and stuff, but there was no talking because the words were not coming. And so she had to pray to find the strength, and she had to call a pastor to pray for them and to sing this song for her mom, Precious Lord, and everything. And she had even left to go, and then something told her, you have to go back. So she canceled her speaking engagement and she went back to her mom's bedside and stuff like that. And so finally, after the singing and the praying, that was that opening, and she knew it was time. So this is what she said to her mom. I began to talk to her about her life, her dreams, and me. Finally, the words were there. I said, it must have been hard for you, not having an education, not having a skill, not knowing what the future held when you became pregnant. I'm sure a lot of people told you to get rid of that baby. She nodded, so her mom nodded. But you didn't, I said, and I want to thank you for keeping that baby. And then she pauses. And so she rounds up the conversation, and so she tells her mom, so you can leave now, knowing that it is well. It is well with my soul. It's been well for a long time. And she defines that moment as sacred, beautiful moment, one of the proudest of my life. Can you imagine Queen Oprah? One of the proudest moments of her life was when she was able to release her mother from that. And of course, her own self, not in front of the cameras and the limelight and the everything. Sometimes that is what we need, this release. We need to make peace. We need to let go. We need to, oh my God, so much healing in that. I remember a conversation I had with my mom about my mental health. It's been very tough for me to have this conversation with my mom. I've been looking for an opportunity, and one day it came like that. And I felt it inside me because I was actually in the midst of a spiritual journey. I was fasting, and it was maybe day something and stuff. And I was like, Father, what do I do? After she had spoken to me and everything, I was like, I need to have this conversation with my mom now or never, right? Yeah. So you are ready. Come on, start. I did. And after that conversation, I had a meltdown, and she was there for me and everything. But since then, we don't talk about these kind of things that but we know. And I know it must have been very hard for her because, well, my brother had his own issues and we lost him, and that was our only son. So I also put myself there. And this is what Oprah actually says. As an adult, I had learned to see my mother through a different lens. Not as the mother who didn't care for me, protect me, love me, or understand anything about me, but as a young girl, still just a child herself. Maybe she was 16 or so, I've forgotten what I read somewhere. Yeah, but scared, alone, and unequipped to be a loving parent. You know, um, Oprah's mother got pregnant for her after just having one meeting with her father under a tree. I went that it was so funny. But so that was it. And if she had, moved on with her dad, found a place for him. I don't know, sometimes it's more difficult for us children to find a place for our mothers. Anyway, so forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could have been any different. But we cannot move forward. This is Oprah writing or speaking. We cannot move forward if we are still holding on to the pain of that past. All of us who have been broken and scared by trauma have the chance to turn those experiences into what Dr. Perry and I have been talking about, post-traumatic wisdom. Forgive yourself. I've done that to myself long ago. forgive them. I do it all the time. Even my ex-husband, recently I forgave him again for some bad behavior or gross behavior. I mean, I told him as much, and then well, yesterday, I mean, he came around, he wrote some nice things, and I just said thank you, and he took the kids out and stuff. I don't have that space to keep things and bear grudges and all of those kind of things. So yes, step out of your history and into the path of your future. And you do this over and over and over again. And then now you become more equipped to do this often. So this is it. Um, the pain was necessary in order to know the truth. That is what one of Oprah's friends said, a poet, Mark Nepal. But we don't have to keep the pain alive in order to keep the truth alive. That is true. And so she made peace with her mother when she stopped comparing her to the mother she wished she had. And when she stopped clinging to what should or could have been and turned to what was and what could be. This is beautiful, Oprah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Perry. And this is one of the beautiful paragraphs they round up the book with. Our hope is that this book has caused you to reflect on how you understand yourself and others. And I said yes. The book has done that to me. It's been a wonderful reading journey, reading experience, on netting things and discovering new things and learning things and just loving life and just being grateful for life. Yesterday my son turned 12, the son I was pregnant for when I attempted suicide. And so it's also my 12th anniversary of second chance at life, 12 bonus years. I'm very intentional how I live each day, each moment of my life going forward. Sometimes some might find me to be too happy, too buoyant, too positive, too everything. I've known the other side. And there's a book I got. In short, there's some books they recommend you. I've read like 3 of them already. So, and I got another one about healing your inner child. Not so much for me, for my clients, but who knows? There might still be some healing I need to do. There's always something, right? Okay, so it was a wonderful experience. I hope somebody might be moved by my sharing to get the book for themselves, especially if something happened to you in your childhood and you can't understand or think that you are weird or what's happening to me, why am I this way, why don't I like crowds, or why am I this, or why do people say this about me, why am I, why do I have some narcissistic tendencies, or why am I so introvert, or what, anything, some of those questions. Sometimes just reading like this, not everybody can afford therapy and sit there and have a therapist help you unravel these things. And sometimes even the therapists themselves, like myself, they have their own stuff too. So self-help books like this one, I really recommend them. And I'm going to talk about them to my clients and everything. And so, well, this is it. I was hoping to keep this video at 15 minutes, and so we are almost at 14. That's fine. I want to wish everybody a wonderful weekend. I have my presentations in school. My brain couldn't respect that and wake up any later than 3 a.m. Although I woke up at about 11 p.m. when the kids came back from their outing with their dad. And so, but I'm going to see how it goes today. I'll be drinking a lot of hot chocolate and maybe eating some chocolate. And you learn how to regulate yourself. When you get deregulated, you have to healthy ways and stuff. What works for you? Okay, everybody, all the best, right? And God bless us all. Thank you, Oprah and Dr. Perry.